Welcome back to The Stacks. I'm your host, Tracy Thomas, and this week we're discussing Rachel Kushner's newest novel, The Mars Room, with our guest, actress and podcast host, Becca Tobin. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for listening to this show. I'm getting so much amazing feedback from all of you, so please do not hesitate to reach out and share what you think about the show. You can do so on our website, which is www.thestackspodcast.com, or through our Instagram, @thestackspod. All of our social media is down there in the show notes. If you're looking for a way to support the show, we would love you to become a member of the Stacks Pack. If you go to patreon.com, you can support the show for a little donation each month. You can give as little or as much as you want, and it helps make the show possible. It helps us keep the lights on, to keep creating new content, finding books that you love, and making a show that you're going to enjoy listening to and sharing with your friends. If you're interested, patreon.com/thestacks. If that's not something you're able to commit to right now, by shopping through any of the links in our show notes, we earn a small commission through Amazon and iTunes. So if that's something that you're doing anyways, we would love it if you would click through our links to shop there. The last way that you can help the show, and this is so easy, and I really, really would love you all forever and ever if you would do it, is to go and rate and review this show if you're listening to us through iTunes. It takes like 2 seconds, and it helps us get this show out to more people. It helps people find us easier when they search for the show, and it's just a really great thing. So our most recent review comes from Yo Jam, and they say, "The Stacks is my favorite bookish podcast. Tracy keeps it fresh with great guests and great content. If you're looking for a great book podcast to listen to every Wednesday, then this is it." Thank you so much for that amazing review. The rest of you, if you haven't done so yet, I'm asking you very, very nicely to go write a review for the show. Also, in case you didn't know, we are now on Spotify and SoundCloud. So if that's where you like to listen, you can listen to us there. All right, it's time for the episode. Our guest this week is actress and podcast host of The Lady Gang, Becca Tobin, and we're talking about Rachel Kushner's newest book, The Mars Room. It's about a woman who goes to jail. We'll get into all of that, and there are definitely spoilers this week on the show. So please, if you don't want the book to be spoiled, stop listening, read the book, and then come back and enjoy the conversation. Here we go. All right, we are back with our guest, Becca Tobin, who is an actress and the co-host of The Lady Gang. Becca was with us last week. If you haven't listened yet, go back and listen to Becca talk about reading, or not. I actually don't care. It's not like there's any connection except for it's the same person. Hi, Becca.
Hi, Tracy.
Are you ready for this?
I'm nervous.
This one is a little more nerve-wracking.
I know.
So this is our Stacks Book Club episode. Becca and I read The Mars Room by Rachel Kushner. And basically this book follows a woman. Her name is Romy Hall. She is 29. It starts off with her being transferred from one prison to another. And she is convicted of 2 life sentences plus 6 years. And basically it's her story of how she got there and her life. She has a son, all sorts of stuff. I'm kind of giving the synopsis like we're not going to spoil the shit out of this book, but we are.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about everything. If you haven't read the book yet and you want to read it, you should definitely read it first, because like it's fiction and we're going there. We're talking about like literally the last sentence of the book. So
it's happening.
If you want to read it, you should listen. This episode will be here. Okay, let's get started. What did you think?
Dive in. When choosing a book normally, feel good.
Okay.
It's an escape for me from life. And this felt like I couldn't wait to get back to my life. And it also solidified the fact that those nightmares that I have where I've been accused of committing a crime that I didn't and ending up in jail, which I have those a lot, which is so strange.
That's weird.
This wasn't good for me.
Okay.
It made me very it's still my biggest fear.
Got it. It's still there. To be fair, so normally when I have a guest on, I let them help me pick the book. But I know that Becca is like one of those humans. Becca's one of my friends that I know that if I say we're going to do this thing, she almost always will be like, okay, I'm game. And so this was like kind of before the show had really started. And someone had told me how great this book was. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I bet Becca will read it with me. Because even though you like feel good books, you also like don't shy away from dark stuff.
No, totally.
Like you will watch a dark movie.
Yes.
Like you are into crazy. You'll be like, did you hear this crazy story about this murder? So I knew I could kind of like push this off on you. I'm sorry that I didn't know about your fear of being,
Being
incarcerated
incarcerated.
for something you didn't do. But to be fair, Romy
She
did
did it. Yeah,
She
yeah,
did
yeah.
it.
No, this just the life in prison. It was real.
I mean, yeah, I said last week, this book is Orange is the New Black. If Orange is the New Black is bleak as fuck.
Yeah, and you couldn't have said it better.
I mean, that's really the synopsis of this whole book.
It takes away all the glossy prettiness of Orange is the New Black, all the funny comedy.
Yeah. There's a little bit of funny in this. It's like a dark
the darkest.
comedy.
The darkest comedy.
I mean, it's like life, right?
Yeah.
If your life is the worst, but like you still laugh sometimes, even like in your
Completely.
darkest days. There's a ton of characters in this book, but mostly just like a handful.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly Romy. She's like our lead. The way that the book is structured is that it's narrated by Romy in first person for like 70% of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other people whose lives we follow, so like a teacher in the prison, a crooked cop who committed a murder for a different prisoner, they're in third person.
Yeah.
What did you think?
That was something that stood out right away for me. And it took me a minute to figure out that that's what we were doing.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm here, but it took me a second to. I liked it because, you know, we still got to know Romy, the main character, really, really, really well because it was first person. I don't know. It's so hard to. I don't know. I like when a book is separated sometimes, and I think it's necessary. And I know that this one, it had to happen this way for us to get to know all of these other people. I was confused though, incorporating of someone like Doc.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because it's Gordon made sense to me because he was attached to her life, a part of her life for a period of time. And like the history of Gordon, where they talk about his relationship with the prisoner before he came to this prison. That was helpful information, so I liked that. But like the Doc stuff was so, didn't you find it to be so out of?
Yeah, I wasn't quite, I mean, I think for me, I was like, oh, I think this is included because they want to have law enforcement be included in some way.
Yeah.
And also I think that she wanted to be able to connect to a male prison.
Yeah.
What like the difference between the male and female prison. So I feel like that was kind of like a catch-all character.
Yeah.
I think my biggest critique of the book, and it kind of falls into this, is that a lot of this book was like, I want to tell this story, so I'm going to create devices to do that. Yeah. So I didn't always feel like the plot like worked. And that being said, and I don't like fiction, this was probably one of the best fiction books I've read this year. Like I really enjoyed the reading, but there were moments where I was like, I see what you're doing, Rachel Kushner.
Yes.
Like for example, Jackson, the son. I did not connect to that child at all. I just felt like he was there as a juxtaposition to the good. Like he was the good versus all the bad.
Yeah.
Like, but he was not a human.
No.
Like he could have been like light.
Right.
Like the light shines in my window. And I think about, like, and so for me, I was like, that's too bad because maybe that could have been an interesting relationship that the two of them had. But like, she doesn't even really reflect on them interacting.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it was also sort of necessary for her. But like you said, it could be done with anything, not just a child, but just how in the end, turn this off if you haven't heard it, but how she sort of has to surrender and cut off the life that she had outside of this place.
Right.
And so he kind of represented the thing that was still pulling her, like, pulling her out of that, or yearning so badly to come out of the prison.
Right.
Because a lot of the time throughout the book, you realize that a lot of these women, prison is actually an oasis compared to what they leave to go back to.
Well, the one woman said that she would go back to prison, like
on
she
purpose.
Considered it like a vacation when she would be on parole.
Yes. Yeah.
Like prison was home and the rest was vacation.
Yeah. So I think that Romy, there had to be some conflict there, why she couldn't just embrace that was her new normal.
Right.
So we had to like be pulled by this son that we really didn't get to know at all.
No.
Like you said, she could have done a better job of describing that relationship before prison.
I mean, because even like opportunities to have that relationship were like, oh, I didn't even hang out with him on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Like, which I think also was like to illustrate who Romy is and this and that. But it just kind of felt like he was turned into a device as opposed to a character.
I was going to say, yeah.
Which, those were like the things in the book, which I often feel with fiction. I'm like, oh, the author's trying to tell me this, right? And I'm like reading it being like, oh, the author's point of view is X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that with this book. Romy grew up in San Francisco, and I really loved the way that she wrote about San Francisco and LA.
Me too.
Like as gross, dirty places. Like, because so many people think of San Francisco as like Lombard Street and like the Golden Gate Bridge, and like no one's talking about the Tenderloin.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from the Bay Area. My best friend, Claire, she works in San Francisco. And I remember, I mean, I know that San Francisco can be gross and seedy, but she was like on her way to work one morning and she was like, I stepped in human poo.
Oh, yeah. That's so normal.
But people don't think of San Francisco and think like human poo.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And just drug addicts everywhere.
Drug addicts everywhere. And also like being a kid in a big city. We both lived in New York. Yep. And like those kids that grew up in New York who were riding the subway by themselves at like 10.
So
like
weird.
Those city kids, those fast ass city kids.
Yeah.
I think she did a really good job.
I did too.
With that stuff.
Yeah, I appreciated it too because when you think of places like LA and San Francisco, it is normally depicted like this shiny, whatever, fancy, exciting place.
Well, and that the places that are depicted as bad in cities like LA and San Francisco are like black neighborhoods, right?
Yeah.
Or like Hispanic neighborhoods. But like this is a white girl.
Yeah.
And like she was doing gross, dirty shit and like it had nothing. Like, it's like, I'm from the Bay Area. People always talk about San Francisco versus Oakland. And, like, Oakland's, like, you know, the ghetto, this and that. But, like, obviously, Oakland has amazing parts to it.
Right.
As every city has good and bad parts. But I felt like it was interesting to have this white protagonist be in all the seediest of seedy places. And, like, that be okay.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
I did, too.
But also talking about, I guess, her being white, it was an interesting choice for a prison book.
Right.
Right? Like, incarceration is so predominantly black and brown that to have this character kind of felt like, why didn't we have a black or brown person?
Right. And I think maybe it was the author's way of like making the statement, and it had nothing to do with race. It was all about she came from a low socioeconomic background. She had the public defender. Like it's sort of I liked it, and I also felt like it wasn't fair in a sense.
Right.
Because yes, this does happen to white women, but it's not predominantly white women.
Right. Well, she even says, like, I think Romy says in the book, all the white women here are here for killing their kids or drunk driving.
Right.
Which is like, except for this one character that it's more of a question about the author.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, there are women who are in jail for different things, of different ethnicities for whatever reason. But it's interesting that our central character is this white girl who's committed this like extremely violent crime. And we're following her through her whole thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of obviously Orange is the New Black, right? You have this Piper who's in jail for like, they're not the same because Romy was like really had a lot of shit going on, like drug addict and thief and murderer and all this stuff. But it's interesting that like these two depictions of prison that are like really prominent right now are both centered on these like kind of pretty white girls.
Yep.
Which,
interesting.
You know,
I guess also as an author, I think Rachel is a white woman.
She is white. Yeah.
I don't think she could have written this book with that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Without a lot of criticism. If the main character, I think, were a black woman.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be interesting. Or maybe if one of the characters that she zoomed in on was a black person or a brown person. Maybe
was Doc?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Maybe he was. I missed that if he was. Gordon was definitely a white boy.
Yeah, Gordon was white.
I know that some of the other inmates with her obviously were a color, like Button. The girl.
Yeah.
Button. Oh my God. Button was bleak, Becca. I don't know.
It was so
laughing.
I know.
It's just like nervous laughter.
Because it's so
every
grim.
Character. Yeah.
It's so, yeah.
Did you have a favorite character?
The woman on death row who
Betty or whatever, the leg model.
Yes,
of course you loved her.
I loved her.
She was funny.
I just think it's hilarious that that was I needed more of that.
Right.
You know, I needed more of because her delusion was so funny, and the fact that she was still like in like ads trying to get boyfriends on death row. It's just, I don't know. I needed more of that, and that's what I think that Romy lacked a ton of humor.
Yeah.
Like I think that it wouldn't have felt so bleak, and maybe that was her point.
Yeah.
But I do believe, like you said before, most people in terrible situations find the humor. It's the
Right.
way that you survive.
Right.
A lot of people, and I just felt like I need a little more sense of humor from Romy. I was like, wah, you're
Right.
depressing me.
Right. Yeah. She was definitely like the straight man, as
Yeah.
they say. And
Yeah.
she could have used a little more fun.
Yeah, like even her observations could have been rooted in a little more humor
Right.
of other people in the situation.
Right.
I don't know.
She did have an observation that I really liked. Was talking about like the signs in prison that were like, do not do this, do not do that. And she was like, I don't know who these imbeciles are in prison, because like I've not met a stupid person in prison yet.
Yeah.
But like this, I can't remember what the sign was, but she like talks about, so she definitely had observations that were good, but you're right. She lacked like a little levity, but you know, maybe that was like the point of
and
her.
also that's a tough life. They've described a very, very, very tough life.
It's from the beginning for her too.
Yeah. So I'm an asshole for being like, find the humor.
Find the humor in the worst life
in
possible.
Your worst. You got dealt the worst,
shittiest hand. So when I was reading the book, so when I was reading the book, she has this best friend, Eva.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, when they make this movie, Becca has to play Eva.
My God.
Until I found out she was like Filipino. And then I was like, sorry, Becca.
I can't.
You can't now. No,
can't.
you're no Emma Stone. You can't play Asian. Sorry.
But can she?
She's tried it.
I know.
Her and... Who's the woman? Not Martha Plimpton. Who's the woman I'm thinking of? Oh my God, the scariest, very pale white woman actress. Hold on, I'm looking it up. She was in We Need to Talk About Kevin. As soon as I say it, you're gonna be like, oh, sure, certainly. Starring Tilda Swinton.
Oh my God. Could I not have known that? But I think of her as having white hair.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just said white skin. Anyways,
Tilda
Swinton.
I thought you said black hair.
Sometimes she does have black hair. Maybe I did. But it's like slicked back.
My friend Tom Lank is a comedian, and he does this act. It's called Tilda Swinton Answers a Craigslist Ad, and he plays it as Tilda Swinton, and it's like the funniest.
Is it like, can I find it on YouTube?
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to link to it in the show notes if I can find it.
And he has shows in LA all the time. He's at like the Fringe Festival now. It's crazy.
See, that's us finding the humor in everything.
Yeah.
See, Romy, get a life.
See, come
on.
Get
a grip, girl.
Laugh it off.
It's not that bad.
I'm kidding.
Wait, okay. Here's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
It was not made clear to me. How come she's serving 2 consecutive life terms in prison if she killed one person?
I don't know how that works.
I don't know how that works either, and I wish that it was explained. I know that 6 years were added on for child endangerment because the boy was in the house.
Right. But I don't know.
That was something that I could not find the answer to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Well, her lawyer sucked.
Her lawyer sucked. Her lawyer sucked.
That was so sad.
That was sad.
Here's why I know that these books are not right for me.
Okay.
And I say this lightly. I wanted her and Gordon to fall madly in love with one another, for him to have found her a really great attorney, for her to have been rescued from prison, and then reunite with her son Jackson.
Great. And this is how I know these books are great for me, as I was like, ooh, this ends so badly. I was literally like, oh, this is only getting worse.
I need happy endings.
Well, when Becca came here today, she goes, I thought this book was going to have a happy ending. And of course, my response was, did you read the book?
I know, but I just thought that there was going to be something, I don't know. I did think that the ending, although it was not, quote, happy, I, as somebody who has done a lot of like spiritual, soul-searching, meditative type of work, it resonated with me, like her release of that like accepting what her new reality was, and I had a hopeful feeling that she was going to return to prison and live her quote best life.
That's so interesting, because do you know what I thought happens at the end? That they shoot and kill her in the woods. Totally.
So did I.
But it did have a
that
feeling.
Was my initial, because the way that it ended is like she turns and runs.
Right.
And
it's like,
and if you run, you're going to get shot.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
You just masked that part.
Right. I mean, did she get shot?
We don't know.
We don't know. But whatever it was, it's like she either ended her life with this final like
act of
acceptance
defiance or acceptance.
Yeah.
I agree. I actually really liked the ending.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly could have read another 200 pages on her once she got back in, like,
yes,
like once she got back in Gen Pop, like wanting to know what happened with Serenity, the transgender woman.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I actually really wanted to know what would have happened if she hadn't been shot and killed, which was, of course, my fantasy.
Right.
Fantasy is not the right word there. Certainly.
No, whatever it was.
My guess.
Imagination.
My projection. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, if she had gone back, I would have loved to know, like, obviously she would have gone into solitary or whatever,
Right.
but once she gets mainlined, as they say, like finding out what happened after that, like, prison riot.
Yeah.
And what happened to Serenity and, like, what happened to all those people that were part, like, I was super interested in that, like, the Mars Room Part 2.
Yeah.
Back in the Habit.
Back in the Habit.
Sister Act. I guess that Serenity, the transgender stuff, I found that to be really interesting. And it going into the book, I would have said that you should be in prison with the identity that you have. So if you are a trans woman, you should be in a woman's prison. And I still think I feel that way. But I definitely started to question it when they were talking about Serenity and how Serenity had killed a woman.
Right.
And the women were like, well, we don't want to be in here with a man that's killed women.
Right.
And that was interesting. Obviously, the terms of her killing the woman were a little bit different. It was like a breaking and entering, like shot a stranger.
Yeah.
Not like beat up her wife
targeted
or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And I imagine this is something that is a huge conversation.
A huge conversation.
Huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just the person that I am, it's like just that the most terrifying thought to me would be her to be in a men's prison.
Terrifying.
That to me is scarier than anything. But I understand, the fear of the women in the women's prison.
Right. Because if you don't know what someone's in there for and you've just heard Serenity killed a woman.
Right.
And at one point was identified by others as a man.
Right.
I think that, like, that could be scary as fuck. If you're already terrified for your life in prison because, I mean, they talk about it a lot in
other
this
women.
book. Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me think and, like, question something that I already thought that I had an answer to. And that is some of the stuff that happened in this book. Other things did that as well. And I appreciaed the book for that, like, for bringing it up. I know that there's a much bigger conversation and who knows the answer.
Yeah.
But just thinking about it is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and also I think it raised the question of, which I already knew was so, prevalent, was she had shitty representation. And by hearing her story of how she ended up killing this man, it was so sad because anybody else who came from a different life probably could have gotten away with it as self-defense or something lessened. And, she was terrified of this man.
Who's her stalker.
Who's her stalker. And he's somebody, which I also thought was an interesting angle, was to tell his side of the story.
I loved that.
I thought so.
And it
was
didn't come
amazing
until the end, which was so great. So you felt really confident. You're like, I ride with Romy. Like, she did it.
Yeah.
You didn't really need to know more. You kind of were just like, okay, he was a stalker.
Yeah. Creepy guy from a strip club. Like, you automatically are like, yeah, she should have killed him.
Right. And then you kind of hear, like, oh, he was a veteran and he had a knee problem and, like, this and that. And you're like, oh, that's kind of too bad. And then they flip to his story and he's the other person that gets told from first person.
Yes.
But he only has 2 sections.
Yeah.
And I thought, for me, like, I take notes when I read the books for the show, and I wrote down Kurt's point of view. Great.
Me
exclamation
too.
point.
Yeah.
Like, I just loved.
I loved it. I mean, he has a mental illness.
Right. And he really was a full-fledged stalker.
Completely.
And, like, I mean, I don't know if I would kill someone, but, like, I understand.
Yeah.
She moved out of San Francisco to Los
him.
Angeles because of him when he was on vacation. And then he showed up on her porch.
Yeah, I think I'd be fucking terrified.
And she clearly snapped.
Have tried to kill him.
Yeah, she clearly snapped.
Yeah. Ooh, and she had her kid with her, so she probably, having the kid with her, made her even more
like mama bear impulse.
I was sort of sad to be, and I did get bummed out when I heard Kurt's side, even though it was amazing. I'm so glad that she wrote that.
The first part of Kurt's side. The second part, I was not.
Where he actually went.
Well, like when he started talking about, like, going through her trash.
Oh, yeah.
Like, then I was like,
super
because
creepy.
the first part of him, you're like, oh, he just really likes the stripper and
Yeah.
he's lonely.
Mhm.
But by the second part where he's like going to her trash and like running into her at her grocery
enough
store.
is enough, Kurt.
Yeah. Like, Kurt,
She's
men
just
listening.
not- yeah.
Listening. She's a stripper. It's her job.
job.
She doesn't like you.
Yeah, no.
She has a life.
She needs
You're
money.
not like if she didn't need the money, she wouldn't be hanging out with you, Kurt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's so sad.
But also, don't follow women.
Mm-mm.
Don't follow women.
Never.
Don't show up unexpectedly.
Unless invited.
Yeah, that's not following. That's going along with a woman.
Yeah.
Don't follow women. Don't be creepy. There's a podcast called Hysteria. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
And it's like all women, and they have a section called like, I don't know, like Ask a Woman or something. I don't know. It's like men send in questions to ask them. And one of the questions last week, I think, was like, sometimes when I get out of the subway and there's another woman, like there's a woman and it's me and a woman and I'm walking and I can tell that she feels like
Yes.
I'm following her. Like, what should I do? And they were like, literally stop, turn around, walk the other direction until she's safely out of view, and then go ahead and go back.
But then how creepy is that to feel him behind you and see him behind you, and then you're like, oh, good, he's gone. And then you look back and he's still coming.
They also said, or you could just cross the street.
Oh, yeah, that's
like go to
true.
the other side of the street.
Yeah.
But, well, they said when they stop, like to wait till she's out of view, like don't.
Like completely forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like not like 30 seconds, not like 5, 3, 2, 1, ready or not.
Yeah.
Here it comes. But I thought that was really good because I feel like as a woman, I've definitely been in that situation.
For sure.
Where like, especially living in New York where you get out of the subway and like someone's behind you. And like, I don't think that men often consider their position in the world in relationship to women, but it can be threatening.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in this situation, it's like you are a stripper and like this person has seen you naked and like felt up on your body and for money. And then you see them at the grocery store when you're out with your kid. Like,
gross.
Kurt, no.
Kurt, no.
No.
Kurt's sick.
Sick. And now he's dead. We're terrible people, Becca.
These aren't real people, so we can sort of talk about
they're
them
not real people.
like this.
Which is why we didn't read like the new Jim Crow, which is a great book about mass incarceration. But A, Becca would have never agreed, and B, we couldn't be fun.
I wouldn't be the same.
No.
You would have forever changed.
Just
me.
watch the 13th documentary. It's like basically
I
the
have.
same. Oh, it's basically the same. The woman who wrote it is in there. Michelle
I
is in
can't read that and be immersed in it for more. Like that was, you know what I mean? It's
an amazing book. If you haven't read it and you like reading heavy stuff, you should read it. If not, see the 13th doc. It's on Netflix. It was nominated for an Academy Award. Ava DuVernay. What else do you need?
It's great.
Let's talk about Gordon, the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Because this book brings up some very interesting power dynamics between prisoners and each other, prisoners and guards. And Gordon is not a guard. He's a civilian teacher. But also his relationship to the prisoners. He is a dropout of like his master's program, goes to teach in a prison, and like develops a crush for this woman who's like not that into him. And she cuts hair at the prison. So he like schedules a haircut every week so he can like see her.
He's like creepy Kurt of the prison.
He's creepy Kurt. He is a Kurt. Actually, every man is kind of a creepy Kurt in this story.
It's true.
And
it's doing men justice. This
book is highlighting
guys.
you guys in the way you need to be
the best
seen.
of light.
Yeah, this is you are what she says you
Better
are.
luck next time.
Yeah, maybe be nice. Maybe just don't be creepy.
Stalk people.
Yeah, don't stalk people. So anyway, Gordon like has like a fantasy life around this woman, and then one day she comes into his classroom and like kisses him, and like kind of like lets him touch her a little bit.
Yep, and then she reports his ass.
And they have like a whole investigation.
Yep.
And this whole thing, and he ends up getting moved. And I know that this is a huge conversation as well, which is like prisoners and their bodies when they're in prison. Like who is in charge,
right? And
who is responsible, and who like, because there's that power dynamic of like, even if the woman or the prisoner is instigating, they are still a prisoner. Like it's just like the same thing as like when people are like, oh, she was 16. It was like, yeah, but she was still a minor.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter if he was 19, like she was still 16 or whatever it is, you know, it's like, that's still their teacher. That's still a person of authority. And so that story like kind of gave me like I had a moment of like,
Yeah.
who's wrong, who's right.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I mean, he was manipulated, but you should never, in that situation, it doesn't matter. Like
Right.
that's a non-negotiable.
Right, yeah, like stop catching feelings for these women
Yeah.
in
Not
that
okay.
way. Like you have to be the responsible one.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me, that was very Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very much.
Except for in Orange is the New Black, it gets like even weirder.
Yeah.
Don't want to spoil it,
Super
but like,
weird. Yeah, lots of
so much.
touching.
And yeah, lots of
So much touching.
Orange is the New Black is good.
I liked it. I stopped after like season 2 or 3.
I haven't watched
remember.
this newest season that just came out, but I've watched everything else.
Yeah.
But so then when he goes to Stanville, Romy's prison,
Mhm.
and then he like catches feelings for Romy. And first I'm like, Gordon,
Get
my
it
guy,
together.
there's not another prison they can send you to after this. Like you're done, you're washed.
Yeah.
But then he like starts Googling
I know.
all the women.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. I would too.
I would Google the women.
I would Google the fuck out of these women because I was fascinated as a reader. I wanted to know why every single person was there. I wanted to know
right
their entire story.
Yes, I agree.
So if you're in such close proximity teaching these women, I understand the Googling of them. And like, does this beg the question, like, should heterosexual men be teaching in women's prisons? Like, do we need to continue to like
Right.
complicate? Is this a terrible topic? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's touchy, but maybe send him to some men's prison,
Or like maybe like teachers need like chaperones.
or yeah, I can't go to a male gynecologist
Right.
unless there's someone else in the room.
My husband is a male gynecologist and he has a nurse chaperone every time.
So maybe maybe there's something like that. Well, and also I wondered the entire time with all of these things that were going on that were quote like out off limits, not part of the rules, whatever, like the passing stuff through the toilet
Mhm.
and then the punch that they made with all their drugs.
Yeah.
Does that stuff happen
I think
as
it does.
often?
I think
And
it
also, like, how can it seems crazy that you can't keep that from like, there's not ways to make sure those things don't happen.
Well, I also think maybe, I don't know. I'm not a prison guard, thank God. I think that would be a really tough job and I would never want it.
Yeah.
But I think part of it is probably like you pick the lesser of
You
the
pick your
evils.
battles.
It's like, okay, so they're communicating through the toilets. Like, who
Right.
fucking cares? Like, honestly, if you're communicating through the toilets, like, have fun reading your
Good
like
for you.
Danielle Steele novel
Yeah.
about prisoners through the toilets.
guess
like,
you're
who
right.
cares? I also think that, like, I'm sure if they wanted to, like, crack down on, like, making sure people swallowed their pills, like, they
Right.
could pull their mouths open. But then it's, like, at a certain point, it's
Yeah,
like, what else do these women have?
it's true.
It feels like, and I think this is kind of like a point of the book, is like for a lot of these women, all they have is breaking the rules.
Yeah,
Like these little negotiations, like these little,
it's true.
like making dildos in woodwork
Yeah.
shop because like you can, and maybe you could like sell it
Yeah.
for like top ramen.
Yeah,
Which, so yeah, I'm sure they could crack down on things.
yeah,
And she kind of makes that point, like certain things they do crack down and then they have names.
right.
Like whatever that portion was, like the amount of food.
right.
Or like the fence, that like the electrical fence and
Yeah.
stuff. But I do think that maybe there should be chaperones.
for
in
the male
prison.
teachers.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I mean, even they were talking about those guys who escaped from the men's prison
Oh, yeah.
with like the woman and like
Yeah,
all that.
was
But that was
so.
But do you remember that
I was gonna
prison
say,
in New York?
Yes,
There was like a thing.
there was.
like,
It
a
was
year or two
so
ago.
similar. The story,
Or like maybe 2016.
Yes.
Yes. The two guys, and they like went and they were like, and one of them was like in love with the
woman
who
has a husband.
who had a husband, and then she like didn't show.
Yep.
And then they were like out, but they were gone for like a while.
Yes.
And it was like a big deal. And
Yeah.
I was really into it at the
loved
time,
that.
and now I've forgotten about it.
Me too.
There is something about prisoners escaping that is exciting and scary, but
Yep.
also like thrilling for
Yeah.
people who aren't connected to prison
And like,
at all.
why, when you're watching anything happening in prison, are you rooting for the person to be able to break out of prison? Like this book,
Right.
I wanted Romy to break
Right.
out of prison.
Sure. Well, I think part of it is like you realize that these people are people and like they made bad decisions and like
Yeah.
this and that. But like
Yeah.
a lot of people who are in prison aren't necessarily fully monsters
Right.
like we're led to believe.
No one's like fully about.
I mean, there are people who do really fucked up, terrible shit
Mhm.
and like are monsters. They're not. No one's a monster. People are people. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? There are
Yeah.
people who do really fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
And like they should be in jail. But then there's also people who, by circumstance, have had it really shitty, and it's too bad we can't rehabilitate people as opposed to just like it's a, you know, we have a penal system, not a rehabilitation system.
Completely.
And so I feel like the book, like those kind of things, like the things that make you think, and the things where you're renegotiating ideas that you've held in your head are where this book really excels for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually, this has been like a pretty consistent theme in the last couple of years, just with different movies, documentaries, books. But The Staircase, that documentary,
see that, but I've heard of it.
If that guy were not white and wealthy, there would be no case.
Is this one where there's like an owl defense or something?
Yeah. Which I'm so into.
Okay.
I can't. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast. But, you know, you look at him, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong that he got a fair trial, but you know that if he was not white and didn't have a ton of money and didn't have a little bit of fame, this would not have gone on.
Right. Well, I think it is right that he got a fair trial, but everyone should
That's
get that
the thing,
fair trial.
is that you know that wouldn't be the case for
right.
most other people. So it makes you very discouraged when you look at the system.
Right. And it's also like you think about, I mean, especially in America, I can only speak to life in America because that's where I live. But
Is it?
Hi, I live here in America. Spoiler, Los Angeles in America. But the way that we value certain professions are the reason that there are so many private defense attorneys and not so many public defenders. The same reason why there are not a lot of teachers. Like if you paid a public defender like you pay a private defender, you probably would have a lot more public defenders and a better system. But it's like people don't value the lives of people who are on trial unless
who can't afford.
Well, unless it's someone you can relate to or someone that you know. Like if your uncle was on trial for murder, you'd be like, get that man the best lawyer. But if it was like John Doe, you're like, well, he probably did it. And you know what? Maybe he did. He probably did. It's true. But if we valued the jobs that, you know, if we valued social workers and like the jobs that help people who have hit rock bottom, we might have less people at rock bottom instead of only valuing the jobs of the fancy or whatever.
Right.
And this book definitely, like, it doesn't shy away from the dark and twisty stuff. Yeah. Valentine's Day is upon us, and I've got love on the brain. Love for books. Duh, of course. Hello. Did you forget what podcast you're listening to? I love bringing you all great reads, exclusive author interviews, and behind the scenes book gossip. But I can only do that with your support over on Patreon and Substack. Our Stacks Patreon community, also known as the Stacks Pack, is where you can go for book club meetups, a private, very active Discord, and a year-long mega reading challenge to help you achieve all your reading goals. Plus, you also get that monthly bonus episode. Now, over on the Substack, you can subscribe to my newsletter, Unstacked, where I keep the book conversations going. I also give you a healthy dose of sports and pop culture, definitely some hot takes happening over there. And again, that bonus episode. If you don't have a few dollars to spare, don't worry. There are free options on the Substack and the Patreon to get you a little extra Stacks magic. Making this podcast is a total team effort, and by supporting my Patreon and my Substack, you allow me to support my amazing team that makes the show possible every single week. So if you or your friends are looking to meet other book lovers and support this indie podcast, come hang out with me on Patreon, Substack, or both. I would love to have you. And since we're talking about love, you can gift subscriptions to the Patreon and the Substack for that special reader in your life. For the Stacks Pack, head to patreon.com/thestacks. And for the newsletter, head to tracythomas.substack.com. And also, there are links to both in the show notes. Okay, see you in the Stacks. Okay, we're going to have fun now.
Okay.
Well, kind of.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the title of this book.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I like the title.
Okay.
Because it's catchy.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really make sense to me why it was the title.
Right.
But I know she chose it because it's a good title.
It's a good title. The Mars Room is the name
Mars
of the strip club that Romy worked at where she met Kurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a central place in the book.
Yeah, but I felt like the most central place was prison.
Right, Stanville.
Yeah.
Which also would have been like a fine title.
I guess the Mars Room is a little more, it was, I don't know, it's a sexier title.
It's a sexier title, definitely. I actually really like the cover of this book.
I love it.
It's like this creepy girl.
It's art. It's like a famous
picture. Yeah,
which
of a German girl.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah, and I like the writing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the cover. I like the title. I feel like it all works. But I agree. It's kind of like, oh,
yeah,
this place.
Yeah,
I like a title
ambiguous.
more. I like a title more that's more ambiguous, where you're like, what is this mean? This could mean this or that.
I felt like this with the Mars Room. You didn't?
Well, I mean, I felt like I knew the Mars Room was the strip club.
Oh, you mean like once you're reading it, you want it to be even more? Oh no, I guess you could say that.
You know, like when it's like some books have titles where it's like, oh, it could mean this, it could mean that. Oh, it's this moment.
Right.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with this title.
I like that moment though, where you realize in the book that the title, like what the title means.
Oh.
I sort of like that moment.
I always like that moment when you figure out what the title is. I hate when I read a book and there is no moment of the title. Like the title is like a general feeling.
Mm-hmm. Hope.
Sure. I have an example, but this isn't even actually a good one because I actually love this title. But there's a book the first book we ever did on the show called Exit West.
Yeah.
And there's never a time in the book where they say Exit West.
Weird.
But it's about immigration, and so like it kind of makes sense. Or like migrants and like refugees, etc. But normally I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't know if have you ever read A Little Life?
Yeah.
That when the title comes up in A Little Life, you're like,
holy shit. Yeah, that's what I mean. I love
that moment is great. But also that title is also ambiguous.
Yeah.
Because
it's
like
not
as that one moment, but it's also like, oh, this person has lived a little life, or like
can fall under many.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That's a great title.
Okay.
But this is a good title. I don't hate this title. Obviously, when I read this book, I was like, this is a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
It can't be a TV show because there's Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
It could be a really
great movie. Yeah.
Who is in it? You're playing Eva.
I feel like Brie Larson would be good. Would be really good as Romy.
She would be
because she has that like intensity, but it's like a stillness, and there's some darkness there.
There's definitely darkness.
Yeah, but physically, she doesn't look like that could exist inside of her because she looks like your typical, you know.
Right. I'm trying to think. Like I have a hard time remembering a lot of actresses' names.
I know,
but I feel like this is the kind of movie that is like a breakout.
Oh yeah,
vehicle
yes.
for someone you've literally never heard of. Where you're like,
that doesn't happen anymore though.
It doesn't?
No.
Is that true? No. What about what's her face? Saoirse Ronan was breakout in that movie about Ireland.
Saoirse?
Yeah. What was that movie?
That was
Brooklyn.
not
the movie Brooklyn, her first movie.
That was like not a breakout.
She was nominated for an Oscar.
I don't see that as like a breakout from Game of Thrones.
No, isn't she? She was on Game of Thrones.
Saoirse
Ronan, the girl who was Lady Bird.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. I was thinking of. Sorry, I'm
like,
such
wait,
an idiot.
Is she on Game of Thrones?
Yeah, but like she also wrote it.
Oh,
and directed it.
Brooklyn?
Didn't she?
I don't think so. I think this was like an unknown. But also same with
clearly
What's-Her-Face.
She didn't make such a splash. So
Brie Larson was also breakout in Room.
But she had been working so much.
But yeah, breakout is different than first role ever. I just mean like someone that maybe you've seen around. Like,
okay, so somebody that we like know her face, but we don't know her name yet.
Yeah, I also wonder if like Brie is too like pretty put together.
No. I think like
you think she could do like,
in Room? She was like. Yeah. Not that she looked like a mess, but she wasn't glamorous.
That's true.
I think she plays that really well.
Do you know who would like love to do this, but just would be so over the top? Like who like this is the book. They're like, I want you to make this movie. Like,
oh my God, who?
Jennifer Lawrence. She would love to just destroy the subtlety of this book. She would. For sure. Yeah. That's like the kind of book, like she's like too much. Yeah. She's too big. I was also thinking, like, with the 2 trans characters, I always love when there's, like, an opportunity to actually cast trans people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so like, that's the thing that's nice about prison movies and TV shows, is that you're forced to cast diverse casts. Like, you can't make this movie with a bunch of white people.
No.
Like, you just can't, even though there's a lot of white central figures, like, you have to reach. Yeah. And, like, that's what's so great about Orange is the New Black. It's like there's this huge array of people you've basically never heard of, except for
it's been a massive platform for so many like Danielle.
What's her face? Poussey. No, I can't remember a single celebrity.
I'm really bad. To be honest, I'm really, really bad with actors and actresses' names.
I'm not great. Samira Wiley is who plays Poussey.
Yes.
But even Piper's like a breakout.
Yeah, she had been working, but like nothing. But like nobody hadn't gotten her.
Like Natasha, what's her face, was like famous before.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then also the girl who plays
the girlfriend
from that 70s show. Literally, we don't know any of these people's names. And we're like, they're so famous.
I know.
And then Laverne Cox, that was a breakout.
Yeah,
amazing,
huge, amazing.
Do you know who my favorite character in the whole thing was? Was Conan London, the trans man. Because I feel like the book makes people seem very human, and obviously, like, these people have this darkness, and like they're living through these hard times.
Yeah,
and
you
like
forget they're criminals sometimes.
But I feel like she did a good job of balancing that, which is why, like, it was great that Gordon was like so fucked up, but because he was like on the outs, and you're like, it's just a matter of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or like being on the wrong side. But Conan had like 2 wonderful moments. One was like this quote about promises. I have it written down. It's okay to make a promise, but it's not always a good idea to keep one. And I love that part because they were talking about the horse. The cowboy who had like a horse had given birth and the baby had died.
Yeah.
And then the horse made a promise to the mother of the horse.
Yeah.
Which, like, who's making promises to horses? Saying that this next baby, this breech baby, I'll make sure it lives.
Yeah.
And so to keep his dumb ass promise to a horse,
he would have had to
kill. He did. He killed the mom horse to save the baby horse.
Oh.
And Conan's response to that was, it's okay to make promises, but it's not always a good idea to keep them. Which is like so bleak and also really smart. Like, sometimes it's like, look, I could keep this promise to you and I could fuck up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Or I could just break my promise and like let my own ego go.
Right.
And like do the morally right thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of morality in this book.
Lots.
Like, what's the morally right thing versus like what's the thing?
That's a good quote.
And then he also had the thing about like there being some really good people when you hear his story, like about his brother,
and
like
his grandmother,
and they're out on the street, and the brother gets dysentery, and then like these nice people come, and like he offers that at a moment where she is really worried, where Romy's really worried about Jackson, and it's like this weirdly horrible story that's comforting.
Yeah,
in all of it,
I look at that and I'm like, do you think that you would want that? Would you rather have a lifetime of just all shit like Romy, where she's never had that brightness, the lightness that Conan had experienced with that tiny moment of time in his childhood that he like hangs on to? It's almost like you wouldn't have wanted to experience that at all because you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you don't have that experience to compare every other experience
to. But
after.
I wonder, how do you approach the world different? Like, Conan did have a sense of humor in the book.
Yeah.
Conan was like catcalling the guards and like was involved more in the community of the prison.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I would rather have had a slice of goodness just to have something to remember in the darkest moments of like, there is good.
Yeah.
But also then there's like, if you never know it, then you never know what you're working for.
Yeah.
Like, we're looking towards like your new best friend beating up your old best friend.
Right.
Like, that's like the joy of your life, which was like that was funny actually.
Bummer.
That's when I was like, oh, Becca should play Eva.
Yeah.
Because she was like kicking ass
If
in that fight.
only I weren't a white girl.
Well, I know, but she had blonde hair, which is why I thought she was going to be white. And then I guess she was like half Filipino.
Yeah.
Anyways, Chloe Kim can play her. No, she's Korean. Never mind. Ignore me. Yeah, I didn't do a good job of casting the show. Oh, I know who I had though.
Yeah.
You know the guy in Bridesmaids who's like the police officer.
Yeah.
He should play Gordon.
Oh, that's good casting.
He should play Gordon. And also,
he's Irish.
He is Irish,
Yeah.
but he's got a good English thing.
Yeah, he has
American
a good
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know any of these people's names. I'll put them all in the show notes. Who cares? But also the guy who I was envisioning in my head to play Doc, I don't know his name. He's Seth Rogen-y looking. That's not helpful.
I imagined old, like much older, like 50s.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, weird.
Like Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
But not so creepy looking. Not so like,
yeah.
I imagine kind of like good looking, but like not really.
And didn't he have a relationship with
Betty?
Yeah, Betty.
Your girl.
Who I imagined as older, like
older, yeah.
50s.
Yeah, 50s, 60s.
Because she was the leg model and had this whole history. So I imagined them to be the older.
I feel like maybe that should be Bernadette Peter.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
She would milk that part
She
fully. I imagined her blonde, but get her a wig. It's fine. It's no problem.
It's no biggie.
Okay, well, I think that I'm done talking about this book unless you have anything you would want to add.
No, I think you covered it. It was quite the read.
It was quite the read. I recommend it if you don't mind dark.
Yeah.
If you're like Becca, you might want to avoid
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Right.
I certainly enjoyed it. I would not have chosen it for myself, so I'm glad that you chose it for me.
God, I forced it upon you.
You did.
All right. Well, Becca, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back next week. Oh, I have a really special guest next week. I can't tell you guys who it is yet, but get ready. Next Wednesday. Not that you're not a special guest.
More special than me?
No,
I'm just kidding.
I introduced you as a really special guest last week also.
Okay.
But then I got a new special guest. Every next guest is really special
I
to me.
listened to last week's.
No, you haven't listened to this one yet. It hasn't come out.
okay.
It comes out.
Okay.
We're recording out of order.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
But you did mention me in Ashley's episode.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah.
My friend Becca.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here, Becca. And listen to Becca on the Lady Gang and get ready for her show in October. And I'll link to all of her stuff.
Yay.
And we'll just keep in touch with Becca.
All
and
right.
otherwise, we'll see you guys in the stacks. That does it for us today on The Stacks. Thank you all so much for listening, and thank you to our guest, Becca Tobin. If you like what you heard today, consider joining the Stacks Pack by going to patreon.com/thestacks and contributing to this show. Make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're listening through Apple Podcasts, please rate and review the show. Our graphic designer is Robin McCright. Our theme music comes from Tagirigis. And this show was created and produced by me, Tracy Thomas.